We are live. Jan, how are you?
I'm a bit surprised you didn't do the intro, Ryan. I'm all. How are you?
No, we're just going to get the pleasantries out the way first. Have you been
All
up to
right.
much today?
Yes. You?
Yes. um, of course, we're here to talk about Everton, but are you? Have you got anything you want to talk about first?
Um, I don't know. I'm doing poetry. I'm getting involved in events. I don't know. I'm excited for. I'm excited for Roma. I've got the Everton Stone emails.
Yeah.
Everton women are doing a lot of stuff moving into Goodison. It's just exciting times to be a Blue. Unless, of course, you start worrying about maybe who we are and aren't going to sign. But speaking of.
Yes, of course. Let's move then swiftly on to the main subject today. That Everton have signed Chelsea's English midfielder, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. He is a former Leicester player. He
Who
was
was
part of
pivotal. He was pivotal in some of those very decisive games and difficult games around the period of our flirtation with relegation.
for Leicester.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I
he's
believe
not.
it was the game. I believe it was the game that was it. Mikalenko scored that great volley that went in.
I can't remember, but let me just finish my opening monologue. So Everton have signed Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, 26 years of age, from Chelsea, a £30 million signing from Leicester. He was part of Leicester's title-winning championship team the year before, following Chelsea's manager Enzo Maresca from Leicester to Chelsea, because he was a pivotal part of his championship-winning team. I think it was 26 goal contributions across the season for them. So he was a goal maker, he was a goal scorer, and before that, a very solid player, but possibly didn't have the goals and assists to his game at that point for the Premier League
Maturity.
at Leicester. So do you think now is the time coming to Everton? He's got a point to prove ahead of possibly the World Cup, maybe adding goals and assists to his game in the Premier League and settling down at an established team.
Look, all I'm going to say is I don't want to speak ill of the guy. I don't want to speculate, but clearly he's been involved in the nitty gritty of Premier League football. He's not been some sort of gifted golden child that's walked through La Masia and gone to Bayern Munich or PSG or Real Madrid, or well, he wouldn't go from one to the other. But you know what I'm trying to say. And he's gone through it, but to then be selected by Chelsea, and the fact that he's surplus to requirements doesn't necessarily is not a discredit to his skill and ability and potential, because just look at the kind of players that Chelsea are really trying to. Well, let's not. Yeah.
They never.
But I think that he's certainly. I mean, at the very least, he's another body in a position where we need somebody out wide that's going to complement. I mean, because if you're going to look,
he's not a winger, yeah.
No. But, well, he kind of is at times, isn't he? Is it on the left?
Well, is it okay if we just give a bit of tactical insight?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
because I want to see him. But basically, just with that in mind, my point being that I'd like to see him be integral in a more decisive, incisive kind of attacking play, pairing with Iliman and Dye.
I think Chelsea can't believe they've got their money back for him, but the market is inflated. From what I've seen of Dewsbury-Hall, he is a talented player. He has an all-round game. So he is a central midfielder, can play either defensive midfielder or attacking midfield, but really he's a box-to-box, a classic central midfielder, someone who can do a bit of everything. And that's Yandel first, before I go into tactical side of things and attributes. Everton haven't had someone who can do two things. We normally have someone who can defend, but doesn't really offer a lot going forward or carry the ball. We either have someone who can carry the ball, but then can't defend and leaves us very open. Or we have someone who's very good at scoring goals, Sigurdsson, for example, but defensively, it has no legs. So this is the first time in a while, Jan, where we've signed a player who's got the energy, the tenacity, the defensive discipline. I'm not saying as an out-and-out defender, but has the discipline about him, but then has, on top of that, speed. Everything he does is quick, incisive passing, drifting out to the left wing to get balls into the box, willing to keep the ball out of tight spaces, a really nice left foot, dribbling. Everything about him is just he's an all-round player, but it's can he deliver on a consistent basis?
Isn't that the Everton problem? I mean, are you? Because here will be if he's played every match and he's had consistency and he was involved in long strings, even at 23, 24. Okay, it's not. We talk about age these days, but players get breakthroughs 19, 20, and inconsistency. I mean, what do you want? Do you want to say that he's going to be the be all and end all? It's 11 players, or it's 18 players, or 25 players, or 40, or all the staff, or all the staff and the fans? I don't know. You just got to hope that they all gel. And he's got some consistency. He's got some, track record of being able to do that. But so then if he fails, you then have to wonder, is that a problem with, because it's not just down to multiple things. Some things play off each other. Is it the Everton atmosphere? But he talks about things, being sold the package of
Yeah.
We talked about this the other day when you were talking about what would it take? Money. Now, we're not able to throw money. We can't just spap it out and get who we want. Because if it were really the case, we probably would have seen Jack Grealish signed by now, if that were purely the basis for it, right?
Yeah, but that would be, I think with that one, he's a £300,000 a week player who hasn't scored or assisted for a couple of years consistently, really had any impact. So you're only really going to say, we'll take him on a loan. Hang on, just let me finish this point, because this is quite an interesting point on Grealish, because you brought him up. A straight loan, 300 grand a week, which costs you 15 million, for a player who hasn't done it. You're committing 15 million plus agent fees to this guy. Man City are probably thinking, well, you need a buy option, but they don't know what to do, because if he has a good season, he could be worth a lot of money, even at 30. If he has a bad season, he's going to get sent back and his value is going to plummet even more. Everton are thinking, well, do we set a buy option too high or too low? It could be a buy option which might need to be based on goals and assists. It might be something that if he manages to score 10 goals and 10 assists and make 30 appearances, maybe his buy option is an X amount. But the big thing for me is the buy option isn't talked about, because he's a player that if he wants 300 grand a week, we're not going to be able to commit to that kind of salary long term.
No, we're not.
So that's
but the
why
whole point being is, yes, but this is what I'm saying. And it's interesting you bring that up, right? Because I'll only want to touch very briefly on this Jack Grealish thing, but talk about it going back to Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall and why he may have, and what that might indicate. So firstly, Jack Grealish, yeah, you say that we won't have the money to throw at it. Maybe we will. With increased revenue and healthier looking statistics and match day revenue. That's beside the point, because you can't speculate on what may be, as has been the case with us getting into financial points, administrative issues over the last sort of 5-10 years. Let's not go down that avenue. But the point being is, there are ways and means to negotiate it. But the fact that we can't throw the money immediately at that and do that, even with the projections, demonstrates that we're playing more astute business. And like we saw previously, Moyes didn't necessarily, he'd identify who he'd want, and he'd have a price that he'd be willing to pay for them. And if they'd met that, then he'd walk away, because it's this idea of maximizing the returns and the benefits of your expenditure. So he wasn't going out buying marquee signings like Mashiri tried to do to make his mark. Look at my money. I throw at this, we have success. No, hang on. Right. Just hang on. I know it was a desire for a marquee signing, all these kind of things, but it's slightly irrelevant. But the point being, we can't throw the money at this problem. So what drew Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall? Maybe you want to call him whatever you want to call him, a Chelsea reject or an outcast, or possibly looking for the next stage in his career, having not skyrocketed and done an Anthony Gordon at Everton to Newcastle kind of thing. Fine, right? But the point being, he's been sold a package. Whether it's David Moyes, whether it's the development of Bramley Moore, or whether it's anything like that, the thing. But the point is, for a player making that decision, yes, he's come out with this, but you need to have confidence. It's very well coming out with sound bites. Oh, Everton are one of the biggest clubs. Oh, they've got a lot of history. I'm excited about this project. They're all the bullshit that every player, every manager says. They're the sound bites. The what do you expect? Why did you join Everton? Well, nobody else really fucking wanted me. Like, no one's going to say that, because that's not the case, right? But the point being, what is the truth behind what he came here? And it's being sold a product and a vision. So clearly there's intent. Clearly there's stuff that we're never going to know. And we're just going to see, hopefully, the positive rewards and benefits on the pitch.
It works because I think, he comes in as an English player into the core English group or British group of players. I think at Chelsea, they have, and I've met the Chelsea director of football famously, but they like to spend a lot of money. We'll come to Amanda's comment in a minute. They spend a lot of money. It's a conveyor belt. 100 million on Calcedo, 100 million on Enzo Fernandez. That's the level of midfielder they want. And Dewsbury-Hall's probably thinking, I want to play at least 60, 70% of the games. He wants to
I want to play
involved,
football.
whether he's coming off the bench or starting.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, ceci n'est pas un pipe. Is he a footballer if he's not playing football? That's why, forgive me, I can understand, I can respect team players and players who go there and are on the fringes and squad players. I get that. But I really have, because it just devalues the game anyway. Look at what happens when teams hoover up the talent and they've got a bench where any one of the 7, 12, whoever's on the bloody bench or not even selected for the game could stroll into 3/4 of the other teams in the league. It's ridiculous, mate. So the fact
what I like about Dewsbury-Hall, though, just because we've only got 15 minutes in total today, because I'm going out. Yeah. What I liked about Dewsbury-Hall, and I think you'll be happy with him, Jan, because he's a proper midfielder. He's going to play. If Everton can get a 4-1-4-1 formation, he's going to be one of the interchanging midfielders, like Ndiaye, like Grealish, like Dibling, behind the striker, who is going to provide the creativity, but also has the engine, has the tenacity, the work rate to get back and defend. I know you're jizzing your pants there, the thought of those four behind.
No, I'm not. Do you know who I'm reminded of, though, that does not get the respect and the recognition that he really deserves for his entire career at Everton? That fits that description. Come on.
No. But what I will say...
No. Don't skip over this. Don't skip over this, because you've raised a very good point. And let's see it. Leon fucking Osman. Middle of the day.
I knew you were going to say that, but I thought we were talking about current players. But listen, Dewsbury-Hall's got more speed about him, Jan, than Osman. He's fast. Acceleration is quick. You are going to love this guy. And you know what? I think you're going to be so excited. So there's going to be triangles. The triangles are back. He's going to drift over to the left. And Ndiaye is going to drift in the field. They're going to be interchanging positions. The fullback's going to be bombing on. Between Asnu and Ndiaye and
I like triangles. I do not know why.
It's going to be beautiful. Tactically, he fits this so well. He's a proper midfielder. Just before we go, can we touch on this? Amanda Stevens, thank you very much for your kind donation. It goes into the pot which funds the channel. Amanda says, think this is a really good signing. Thank you so much. He will keep the midfield solid with Garner Gay. I think he's going to play on the left of a midfield 3, or as the left centre mid of the left number 8 in a 4-1-4-1. So someone holding and then 4 behind the striker. Tyler Dibling, then Jan. It's got to the point where Southampton have rejected 40 million. They want 50 million, of which 45 is guaranteed. 5 million easy achievable add-ons, probably appearances. And Everton have said, no, it's got to the point now where we need to look away. But for the sake of 10 million, if this is the right winger that's going to transform you for the next 10 years, but I think what's killed it is the 25% of the profits, the sell-on clause for me. And Southampton have now got a situation where Tyler Dibling is not training with the first team. He's away from the group. His head is turned. He's at Everton. Everton have agreed personal terms. Everton are not far off with the fee, but and Southampton are currently looking for a right winger, Tom Fellows, a player we've been linked with, who's a decent right-sided player at championship level. So what are your thoughts on?
My thoughts is Ryan's just dumped me with that and gone. So I'll try and address that. He's gone. Right, it's just, hello, you're back.
Sorry, got a work call coming in, and I'm at 7 o'clock, so don't worry, I'll call them back in a moment.
What were you continuing? Were you in the middle of saying something because it cut off like midway through?
No, it interrupted. I was just saying, what do you think of the Dibling situation before we wrap things up here?
Again, if you're going to identify other targets that you think could fit the mold, that offer the same sort of trajectory on the outlay returns curve, graph, Moneyball kind of statistics, then walk away. Don't pay over the odds. Don't put yourself in a shitty situation where you're limiting your future choices. It's the path of least resistance. Now, it's not personal, because it's not about this player. It's about what skills do they have to bring. It becomes personal when they put on the shirt, absolutely. But, you know, if he's going to do success elsewhere, okay, we could have said we could have spent that. But the point is, you know, it's all just speculation. Now, if you can give me some really compelling arguments and a decent contract that doesn't take the piss out of us being in a position of need, then fine. Absolutely. And if you can show that there's other positions to be excited about where we paid under market value, or we've got really good bang for a buck, and we've got the bodies and the intent and the desire, and maybe a free agent, or players have taken wage cuts because there's a guarantee, there's an authentic gentleman's agreement, maybe written into contract amendments, that with an increase in revenue of this percent, if we hit an increase in match day revenue of X percent, we can then reassess your wages at the end of year one after this percent, should this target be met, etc., etc. Now, this all gets really messy. This is why it's not going to apply to new players, because new players don't want this sort of complications that you've got to look. I don't know. I'm waffling, but
just answer the question. What do we do about Dibling? Because I've only got 1 more minute.
Well, pay what we're prepared to pay and don't pay any more. It's that simple, mate. I don't want to play the speculation game over it and what he is and isn't worth. It's not my place to say. But if we're going to get bent over a barrel and paying 25% more, nah.
No, it's a 25% sell-on clause.
No. But up from 40 to 50 million is 25% more.
Oh, yes, correct. Well, is it 20% from 40 to 50, technically? No, it's not. It's 25% more.
25% it's 20% off the total, but it's a 25% increase.
Yeah, thank you. Jan, thank you so much. I thank you for jumping on. Everton have made a signing today that we can all be excited about, and we'll see you very soon, Jan. Yeah. See you on the next one.
See you on the next one.
Thanks, mate. Take care. Thank you.